Every kid in Maplewood Hollow was afraid of the dark. I was afraid of my own mother, because one stormy night, she sold me, her little girl, for $10,000 in cash. My name is Hope Crawford, born and raised in Maplewood Hollow, Kentucky, population 1,842. Mom, Tammy, made the best peach cobbler, sang hymns at church, and told every neighbor I was her miracle baby. But miracles don't get traded like baseball cards, do they? Dad was gone to heaven. That's all she'd say. No obituaries, no photos. Whenever I asked, Mom's eyes glossed over, then snap. She'd snap back, force a smile, and change the subject to my homework. We lived in a sun-faded, double-wide overlooking a cornfield. Poor, sure, but to me, it was home. Until the night the stranger in the pickup showed up. I was sketching by flashlight when Knuckles hammered the door. Mom's face drained of color. She hissed, "Go brush your teeth, baby, now." I tiptoed down the hall, but peeked through the cracked paneling. Tall man, lean, leather jacket soaked. I caught 3 words as he tossed a brown envelope onto our breakfast table. 10 grand, tomorrow. Mom nodded, silently. The stranger lit a cigarette, left muddy boot prints, and disappeared into the storm. I didn't sleep a single minute. Morning smelled like heartbreak. Mom braided my hair, dressed me in my Sunday white dress, and said we were going on a surprise vacation. She drove me down Dusty Creek Road. A fresh waxed SUV waited by the abandoned silo, the leather jacket man behind the wheel. I clutched Mom's arm. "Mom, I don't want to go." She pried my fingers loose and turned my back. The man's grip was ice as he shoved me into the back seat. Gravel sprayed, cornfields blurred, and the woman who birthed me grew smaller in the side mirror until she vanished entirely. Inside smelled of lavender and secrets. Girls my age in pastel dresses drifted like ghosts through candlelit hallways. A poised woman in a navy power suit approached, heels clicking. "Call me Miss Delacroix. You'll behave, and you'll be rewarded." Rewarded with what? We soon learned, silence or suffering. Every evening, we were powdered, perfumed, paraded. Men arrived, wealth whispered through their cufflinks. I counted exits, memorized camera locations, but the hallways twisted like a maze. One girl, Savannah, tried to bolt through the garden lattice. Alarms screamed. Guards dragged her back. Next morning, her bunk sat empty, her toothbrush gone. No one dared speak her name again. That's when the truth settled in my bones. We weren't guests. We were inventory. I stole a spiral notebook from the library room. Night after night, under blanket fort light, I wrote names, dates, license plates, evidence, insurance, hope. One stormy midnight, I slipped into Miss Delacroix's office. A single key unlocked her desk, and inside a letter penned in my mother's handwriting. "Tell Hope she was abducted. Paid in full, $10,000. Tammy Crawford." My stomach slipped. Peach cobbler and hymns curdled into poison. But footsteps thundered behind me. A new visitor arrived. A clean-cut man with kind eyes pretending to be a buyer. He passed me a napkin. "I'm Detective Carter. Trust me. Meet at tool shed, 3 a.m. I teetered between terror and faith, but faith won. At 2:59 a.m., I crept through a service door. A flashlight blinked twice, our signal. Guards grabbed me. Carter's badge clattered to the floor. Fake? Miss Delacroix smirked. Cute that you believed him. They tossed me into a soundproof cellar. No windows, no time. 3 days passed, bread crusts, rusty water. In darkness, anger morphed into strategy. I remembered the weak hinge on the maintenance grate. Rust screamed as I pried the grate open with a spoon. Air duct led to laundry room. I soaked drapes in bleach, stuffed them in the dryer, and cranked it high. Within minutes, smoke billowed, sprinklers erupted, alarms howled. I bolted through chaos, dove into the thicket beyond the back fence, and ran, barefoot, 5 miles to a 24-hour gas station. I slapped my journal onto the counter and begged the clerk to call 911. Police believed every scribbled line. By dawn, FBI vans surrounded the house on Willow Creek. 29 girls were rescued. Ms. Delacroix was hauled away in cuffs, screaming my name like a curse. I was 12 years old. Cable networks looped my shaky courthouse testimony. A reporter asked, "Hope, what would you say to your mother now?" Camera lenses zoomed. My voice didn't crack. I'd ask her if her addiction was worth $10,000. Then I'd walk away. Mom was arrested for facilitating child trafficking. She'd spent the money on opioids. Small-town spectators filled the courtroom. Gossip buzzed louder than cicadas. She sobbed on the stand. I was desperate. But desperation isn't currency. The judge gave her 25 years. Therapy sessions, foster homes, nightmares that smelled like lavender. Some nights I'd wake screaming, thinking the drip of the AC unit was Ms. Delacroix's heel clicks. But pain, like coal, can be pressured into diamonds. At 16, I testified before Congress about domestic trafficking corridors along I-65. At 18, I founded Hope House, a Nashville safe haven with 40 beds and the motto, "No child is for sale." She holds up the battered spiral notebook, now sealed in a plastic evidence bag. I was sold like a pawn, but I chose to become a queen on my own chessboard. To every survivor watching, your story isn't over. It's just turning the page. If this story moved you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs hope, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Together, let's end the nightmare one story at a time.